Hi everyone, welcome to a big episode of today's Altcoin Bible. Markets are really moving higher after that 200-week moving average was taken out on Bitcoin. Now we're just waiting for alts to start to grind higher. Just haven't seen that major move just yet. And I think markets just generally are in a holding pattern waiting for the FOMC on Thursday. So that's the Federal Reserve coming out, giving their guidance and raising interest rates, potentially pausing, potentially cutting. There's all different probabilities at play here because of the banking sector stress. Personally, I think we see a 0.25 still rammed home, and then after that, likely a pause. But it really all depends as well on what Jerome Powell says in the FOMC. And I think if there's any hint that there is a motion towards coming to an end, whether it be 0.25 and also hinting in the language that they're going towards a pause at the next session, then I think markets rally regardless. So they're going to have to come in with a 0.5, maybe some hawkish language, for markets to dump, in my opinion, but just anything is possible. And I think this is a hugely consequential time for risk markets, including crypto and Bitcoin. We're seeing Bitcoin run higher, really on that flight to safety trade. Same with gold. So there is that. Today, I'm going to be focusing obviously on our cherry ripe one to watch and danger zone because some altcoins are really popping off. We're seeing some liquidity move back into the market. We're also seeing some great setups emerge. And look, this is an old favorite of many, XRP. It is one of the cryptos that everyone loves to hate or loves to own, depending on who you are. Just looking at a pure trading setup here, XRP had a massive move overnight. So it was from, let's say, 37 cents all the way up to, at its highest point, a 31% move to 49 cents. It's now retracing a little bit here. I'm putting this as my cherry ripe because when you do see these big moves, in bear markets, you would almost expect them to fully retrace. There is some reason why this is happening. I'm not sure why that is, but regardless, it is still above it's cracked major resistance here at this level. You can see when it pumped up here, it chopped around here for a bit and then dropped all the way back down. So this is a really key break for me. Holding above this level is absolutely crucial. This is the daily. So we've actually closed the daily candle above this previous resistance, now flip support. We have to wait for this next candle now to see if this does hold above. If it does, XRP is off to the races. So in terms of buy zones, like I just said, the momentum is absolutely with XRP. You see the RSI, you can see stock RSI is starting to get, well, it is overheated. So hopefully this comes back a little bit, which it's trying to do. So that gives you an indicator that we could see that pullback to support, as well as the momentum. I mean, that is extreme. It's extraordinary. It's up into those levels that we saw over in this side here. I don't think this has topped out. I think everything's pointing towards a nice consolidation here above that previous resistance level, which is exactly what you want to see. If we zoom out as well, you can see the volume support on the right-hand side here. So this here is holding things up. You really want it to stay in this area up here. It drops beneath this crucial support level now. If it holds, it's going all the way back down to this level here at 42 cents. So that is why it's important. But in terms of buy levels, let's have a look at the Fibonacci retracement. Always a very useful tool in terms of plotting your entry points. And there is a bit of confluence just under the support level. So we could see a bit of a fake out to the downside, 43 cents and whatnot. You can look to layer in those positions to catch the move out. But ideally, you want to see XRP hold above this level. But oftentimes it doesn't. It does catch people off guard. So that next point is probably around about that Fibonacci level at that point of that previous high there, and some of these wicks going down should provide that support, but there isn't that much volume on the right-hand side. So if it does get to that level, then I'm probably thinking it's getting down to 41 cents at most, maybe a little bit lower. In any case, this is the cherry ripe for me because it has shown that strength. You got to follow that strength. You got to follow that momentum. So far, this is just one candle. Could have just been a massive whale buying, whatnot, but that's all I'm seeing at the moment in terms of that chart. Where to next for XRP? So this is on the daily. What we really would likely see here is the next move up to that big volume support level here. So let's just draw a line there, just underneath that there. Perfect. So we will probably run, if XRP continues motoring high, has that pullback, then runs high, probably going to get a bit choppy in here, this previous local high area. But for mine, it is all about this floor up here, which was the bull market floor back in, end of 21. And then as we were grinding down in 2022, you can just see how consequential this was, sort of slamming down into it, slam, slam, slam. And then finally that breach during the lunar crash, if I'm not mistaken. Then we're down in this area here, trying to work our way out. This is actually an unusual one. You're seeing a head and shoulders pattern on the bottom, which is usually a bearish pattern, but it looks like it's actually forming here. So you've got the left shoulder, the head, the right shoulder, and then the expansion. So yeah, XRP is looking pretty good here, but again, just be careful that you're not just chasing and FOMOing in. It looks good to me on the so far on the daily. You have to dive into smaller time frames for that shorter term trading, but so far it's setting up quite nicely, but there is opportunity to capture this on the downside. So, and moving on to my one to watch for today. Look, I could have chosen a basket of other currencies as well in terms of, Ethereum looks pretty good where it is and a few others, but MATIC has just been showing a lot of strength throughout the beginning of the year. It hasn't been doing so great over this last month, but I think it might be about to turn, and I just want everyone just to keep it on your radar because it can move quite violently. It had a really, really great, again, these last 6 months, and then a bit of a slowdown this last month moving into that ZK roll up. But we're just having a look here in terms of where MATIC is. Just this is on the 4 hour. I'm seeing a very slight bullish divergence emerging. So we're seeing price action actually just inch high. You can see this low here. There's another, this one's higher than the last low. You can see that there. But on the actual RSI, we're seeing that sellers are still very much in control. So the selling is increasing while price is actually grinding higher. That is actually a bullish sign. It's a bullish divergence where you tend to see bulls take over eventually and then springboard higher. That can be a sign of reversal as well. But it is minor at this stage, but I want to keep that on everyone's radar. MATIC as well looks to be forming some kind of cup and handle. If we just go in a little bit further, this is what I'm seeing as well. In terms of the immediate price action, this is on the 30-minute, but we saw MATIC come down and test at 0.786 down at this level, and now it's consolidating within this triangle. Absolutely could break down, but what I was seeing on the daily, it'd be nice to see it form some strength here and then move higher. A lot of these altcoins are actually looking a little bit, topped out in terms of they just need to pull back and just, take a breather. And there's definitely levels that you could be interested in lower, and you can look at the volume levels and all that. And the broader Fibonacci retracement, the 0.786 actually hit this on the head down here where this divergence kicked in. So, MATIC has hit some key levels and it's bouncing back. I just want to see it, create some kind of higher high here. I want to see it get above this previous high, break out of this triangle that's beginning to form. It's stuck on a lot of volume here, which is good. This here is also forming a shorter term divergence, very, very slowly. You can see that, the RSI is beginning to, come a bit lower than the last one. I'd love to see this come down a little bit further to really form that, but price action is actually moving higher. So again, that's more of that divergence at play on the shorter term and the longer term. Look, MATIC it has a very strong community and driven marketing drive. So I think just paying attention to this is really, really important in these times, because those more popular cryptos that have high market caps can be really, really strong when they do move higher. So definitely keep an eye on this. I don't know I'd be buying in these kind of areas personally. I'd be looking and getting very interested as we fall down to some of these levels again, a little bit lower, 1.24, that kind of area. But watch for this area to hold here at the 0.382. So that's the 38, the 38% retracement to that level there with the volume support here. Look for this to hold. If it does, well, this triangle could have just had the full retracement back into this area, and it may just break up and out through that way. So just keep that in mind in the shorter term. That's one to watch for MATIC to blast higher back to some of those higher levels it was used to last couple of months. All right, for my danger zone, this one was a little bit trickier to find a crypto that actually looked a little bit toppy. A lot of them look half. They all look to be just consolidating, grinding together for this FOMC announcement. So I'm just going to put GRT on your radar. It's AI token. A lot of the liquidity and volumes are moving through AGIX at the moment. That has been more favorable to trade in the shorter term. So that's been more interesting. But things like the graph and others have just an ocean of just been falling away a bit. I'm seeing the RSI just dwindle away in terms of these peaks. It's getting weaker and weaker and weaker, grinding into that key support. Had this enormous bounce here, but this could very much be the dead cat bounce moving up there. And now we're seeing that grind back into support. I just don't like the way that this is setting up. Of course, it could bounce here. It's on, again, key volume support and whatnot. But if we're just, pulling up the Fibonacci trades, had a bounce there, but now it's back to, again, on that key support. The stock RSI is rolling over. The RSI doesn't look too great either. Momentum's curling over. Yeah, it's not my favorite at the moment. I definitely think lower prices are inbound. I think another retest of this wick down here at 14 cents is in order, and maybe bottoming effect probably happen around 13 cents, if not down to 0.786. You'd be very surprised how often these cryptos fall back to 0.786s. It got down to there at that point there. A little bit lower, of course, but sometimes it just needs a second impulse to create a higher low. But for me, that's the graph. Yeah, not too hot on that. A couple of them do look like this. Some look a bit stronger, like Ethereum, and I showed you MATIC. And then you've got those that are outperforming like XRP. So, guys, hope you've enjoyed this altcoin Bible. Catch you again for our next episode. Bye.